Hi everyone, this is Alison from Crumbs Craft. Today we're going to do a little talk on our Interchangeable Knit Pro and how to connect them and how to make sure that you've done them up nice and tight. Now the first thing is that these are your interchangeable tips, which then come away from your cable, and I will show you shortly how to put them together. This is my case that I use to put all my interchangeables in, and you can buy these at Crumbs. And then I've got all my pieces that I need in this part here. So you've got all your different sizes right up to, these are a 12, and you go right up to a 15. So all of these sizes you can buy. So the thing is that with a cable, all you need to do is buy your main cables. Now the first one is a 40 centimeter one, and that length is when you have got your needle tips on. All right, so it's 40 centimeters right round to the other tip. And then you've got your 50, and they're good now because they're all color done in colors. Then you've got your 60, then you've got your 80, and they go up to 100, 120, and 150. So if you're doing a blanket and you need a long one and you haven't got a cable long enough, what you do is you get a connector. Now these are really good to keep in your bag. They're sold separately, but what you do is you screw that into there, and then you can screw that one into that end. And then what you do is you've got a longer cable, and then you just put your tips on, and then away you go. All right, so it's a really important little contraption to have. You buy 2 in a pack, and they're really handy. So now what I'm going to show you right now is we've also, in the little pack that you get with your cables, you will get what I call an Allen key, and you will receive 2 of these tips, little discs as well, and I'll show you how to work with those. Now one thing that I have done is I've put a ribbon on the tail end of my Allen key, because it's very hard when that gets put into there. Whoop, can't open it now. Gets put into there, and eventually it gets down to the bottom and you can't find it. You put this one in with your ribbon, and there you can see it. So all I do now is just pick that up, and then I can get started straight away with my putting the tips on my cable. So I've done this one already, and it's already tightened up. So what we do is, I'll actually show you on a bigger needle, because that one might be a little bit small. So I'll come with this. Now on your cable part, there is a little hole which your Allen key slips into. All right, so you just put it through like that. Now I put that on first, and I don't move it, I don't tighten it just yet, and then I just screw that on. But if I didn't tighten it with this, it would just come undone eventually when you're knitting. You're moving like that, and then it will come undone, and eventually your wool will get caught on that part there. So even though you think, oh yes, I've done it up tight, what we need to make sure is when you put the Allen key in through that hole like that, you're going to hold it upright and you're going to push your thumb against the Allen key. With your left hand, you're going to hold on between the metal and the wooden part like that, and just hold it in your hand. Now, all you've got to do is hold here and push on the Allen key. Now, you will feel your needle go round in your hand. So what you do is you release your hand, bring it back so the Allen key is upright again. Then you're going to push on the Allen key. Then you've got to release your left hand, bring the key back upright, hold, and push again. Now, with a thicker needle, it's okay to hold in there and have a few other fingers holding it as well in your hand and push. Now, that will not come undone. It won't, all right, until you put your key back into there and you bring it back the other way. Then it will just come undone. Now, the thing too, some people will hold it like that and hold tight with their left hand, then come back. So what's happening is that you're tightening it, but then when you come back, you're undoing it at the same time because you still got hold of it in your left hand. So it's really important that when you push forward and you go to bring the key back, you release your hand and bring it upright. Then push again, release your hand and bring it upright. So that's how you tighten up your interchangeable needles. So now I'm just going to show you on another one I've got here. So it's lovely because you've got so many different size needles to work with, and I love them. So now this is a poncho that I'm making here. So I've got my long cable. I'll just move those out to the side so I've got room. Now, if I want to use this tip to make something else, to knit something else, and I haven't finished my garment that this is attached to, what I do, of course you'll have another cable, what I do is I undo this, which I have done here already, and I then get the little tip and I then just screw it on like that and just twist it round. You don't have to do that one up because it's not being used, and there is your end, so it won't come off. Rightio, so that's really important. And then all you've got to do is get your key again, put it in and reverse what you did before. So this time your right hand stays still and your left hand does the work. So I'll undo that. I then can take out my key and then I put those on. Just twist them on. And there they are, back on there. And that means that you can put that to the side and then you can start putting on your other tip onto your needle. Doing it up. Oh, didn't want to go in that one. And then you get your key and you find the hole and you put it into the hole. Again, hold on to the left hand side and twist it up, okay, till it's tight. Then push on the key, release, push on the key, and then there it is, done. Onto your next one. Now, while we're doing the bigger ones, I've got some finer ones here that I've put on. Now, it's really important that if you start getting finer ones again, these ones, as you're getting smaller, they are already connected, because we have found with the wooden ones that people are holding on to this part here and eventually they break off. So they have the ones already connected like that, or you can go to the, which I would suggest if you're going to 2.75s or 3s, I would suggest that you go to the carbon and steel tip. Now the carbon are warm once you're moving with your fingers on your needles, and they've got the nice steel tips on them, but they've got like a grip on the carbon part of it, and it's not cold in your hands. They warm up quite nicely. So that's my suggestion, is that you go to your carbon for anything smaller than a 3 or even 3.25, so you don't break the tips. As you can see, they're a lot finer. So they come in already connected. Now, one little thing also is that you can get, and I use these for socks, and when you're doing the sleeves around a garment, if you're doing them in the round, these are ideal. All right, so these are put out there to knit as socks. So you've got a lot of little bits and pieces. So go onto our website, www.crumbscraft.com, and go and have a look, see what we've got. And we've got the containers here that I was showing you. Now, there's one more little tip that it's to do with knitting, but it's also to do with the cables. When you do take your knitting off, I should say, when you've been knitting and you would normally have it on a straight needle like this, over time you would end up with having a mark going through your wool. It's because the wool has been stretched, because it's been left on the needle. So if you haven't been knitting this particular project for, say, 3, 4, 5 weeks, when you do go to use it and you've got a straight needle like this, I would suggest that you take it back 2 rows and restart it. Because if you didn't, you would end up, and it would have a line going through it, and you will see it, and it will be very noticeable, more so to you than anybody else. But if you've got the cables, like what I've got here, there's no pressure at all on the stitch, on the wool. So you could leave it for as long as you want. Because there's no pressure, you're not going to get any lines. So even if you're not sure about knitting with these smaller tips, I would suggest that you buy some cables, and if you do think that you've got a blanket or a garment that you're making and you're not going to get back to it straight away, get the cable, thread it through, put the ends on, and then you can just put it aside till another rainy day. Okay, so I hope that I've been through everything with you. Just one other is that you do make sure that you keep your tips in, not like that, all right, because they could get a little snag on them. So I like to put mine down into there. All right, and they've got the numbers, that's a 5 mil. So, and I like putting mine in order so you'd know what they are. You could always write at the top or pen on there what numbers they are. So yeah, so that's all about our tips and cables. So I hope you try them out, enjoy working with them. So you can have fun with them, have a little play, but otherwise that's how you work your interchangeable cables and needles. All right, everybody, have fun, enjoy knitting. Bye.